my people, what is happening? Hopefully you can hear me. So we're in Manchester Airport Terminal 1. No Costa in T1, so I had to settle for second best. I'm not impressed, but it is what it is. So, little impromptu trip home for a couple of days. Unfortunately, my grandmother has passed away, so early hours Monday morning, it's Wednesday now. Gotta go home for a couple of days, spend a little bit of time with family, and just still try and manage everything I need to manage. So I'm gonna take 2 or 3 days off of work and messages and stuff like that, just to spend a little bit of time with my family and just kind of switch off a little bit. It's normally something that I never really do, to be honest, and I really struggle to do. But I definitely think if ever there's a time that it's going to be needed, it's going to be now. So that's going to be the plan of action. Now I am still on prep, so nothing changes whatsoever. So flight is going to be in Dublin at like 1:30, I believe. But even with that, I still brought 6 meals with me for today. Okay, so I've 2 of them eaten already, 4 more in my bag. Unfortunately, when I went through fucking security, even though my oats were rock solid, they didn't let me through with them. And he didn't throw it away, but he let me go back out through security, eat my oats, and then have to go the whole way back through security again. So I was in security for like 35-40 minutes. And as you can imagine, I was fucking raging. So I was pretty angry with him because like he took the oats, right? And I purposely made the oats like not runny, right? I always do when I travel in the airport in case they take them off me. So I made them pure like paper mache, the way I don't like. And he took the lunchbox off me, right? And he was like, this is liquid. I was like, mate, they are not liquid. He turned the lunchbox upside down and the oats were stuck to the top of the lunchbox while he had it upside down and they didn't even drop. And I was like, how are you telling me they're liquid? I think there was like some frozen blueberries in there and they melted and there was a little bit of like liquid coming off them. So that's what he was justifying it for. But in all my time traveling over the last 4 years, I've always brought oats through the airport with me, and that's the first time ever they haven't let me bring them through. So I was pretty fucking pissed off with that. But anyway, it is what it is. We've just got chicken and rice, steak and potato and shit like that for the remainder of the meals for the day. I'll probably eat one more when I get on the plane, and then maybe another in the car on the way home. My mother is going to collect me from the airport, thankfully, because she wasn't going to, and I would have had to wait 2.5 hours at the airport for the bus and get the bus down, and I wouldn't have got home till 7:30, which would have been like 12 hours travelling in total, which wouldn't have been ideal because I left my house at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I fucking hate travelling, especially travelling on prep, but at least I'm going to get all my steps done. So rest day today, and then we're going to be in for pulling legs in extreme the next 2 days, and then I'm going to have the wake Friday evening, and then I'm going to have the funeral Saturday morning, and then back to Rotherham on Sunday. So week in the life at home, managing prep whilst travelling and going back for a funeral. Prep doesn't stop, you just have to get it done, right? So it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. If you're on prep, you've made that commitment. So regardless of what happens in your life, you've got to stay locked in. It's one of my fucking pet peeves in airports when people just mosey about the place. It's like, do you know, fucking places to go or places to be, you know? Slowing down the escalators, getting in people's fucking way, just moseying along. Don't understand that. Maybe that's just because I'm such a fucking hectic go person, but fucking hell, that drives me nuts. I can't be the only one. Oh, after a 1 hour delay, sitting in the plane waiting for it to take off, we're finally in Dublin Airport. So my mum was waiting for me somewhere. Don't think she was waiting too long, maybe about half an hour. But I'm going to get out now and get on the 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive home. There she is, boys. D-Mac Senior.
French.
Pepsi Max for me. Chopped for ma'am. Health Queens. Hello, doggies. Hello, sisters. What's happening, guys? So it has been a couple of days since the last update, and as you can see here, today is the day of the funeral. So I was just up the cemetery a while ago, laying my grandmother to rest, but I just had a quick little break to come back home, eat, prepare a couple of meals, and I just wanted to touch base with the vlog. So I wanted to touch base because like it's something I kind of want to touch off. Something I alluded to in my Instagram post the other day is that, like, regardless of life circumstances, right? If you are a bodybuilder, shit just needs to get done, okay? If you have shit to do, it doesn't matter what pops up in your life. If you really care about your goals, you just have to get it done, okay? And for myself, that includes my grandmother's funeral. And like, before anyone kind of watches this and thinks, oh fuck, take a day off, bro, you know, your granny's dead, etc., etc. Like, me and my grandmother are actually extremely close. I lived with her for 18 months before I came over to the UK, and she only lives up the road from me, right, where I grew up my whole entire life. So she has 23 grandchildren, but I was definitely one of the grandchildren who was the closest to her, and the only one that actually lived with her. So, you know, it's been a difficult couple of days for me, and because I'm on prep, that's been in the back of my mind at all times as well. And I'd be lying if I said it hasn't been difficult to be present. I was literally only thinking about this the other day, because it really, really has. Like, I got pretty stressed out this morning because I woke up, I slept in a little bit because I was up 2 hours later last night because I was just spending time with my family. And obviously I'm on prep, right? So I'm checking in with Kuba more frequently. The last 3 days, we've been running high days just so my weight doesn't drop. So to get up this morning, I had to take checking photos. I had to wait for him to respond with what my plan of action was for food for the day. By the time he responded with that, I had an hour and a half before I had to be up at the house to say goodbye to my grandmother and, you know, bring her coffin down to the church, pretty much. So, like, I had an hour and a half of just scrambling, like, trying to calculate the macros of what an extra 100 grams of carbs and what I ate yesterday was, trying to build myself a meal plan, trying to prep all the food I need for not just today, but also tomorrow, because I'm going up to Dublin to see and stay with my cousin so that I can fly from the airport tomorrow so my mum doesn't have to drop me up tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, like, I have to get my food in. I have to get the additional adjustments, the carbs that Kuba has given me in. I have to make sure I'm super well prepared, well organized, right? Kuba asked me to put in, you know, extra rice cakes today because that's what we had the last 2 days. I ran out of those. He asked me to put in sourdough bread. I didn't have any sourdough bread. I had to put in bagels instead of the sourdough bread, macro it out. I had to, you know, just put in extra rice instead of the rice cakes, even though it's going to be a ton of volume, right? I had to just adapt and make changes and just do what I need to do to get the food in, okay? And like, everyone else right now is down in the community hall eating fucking, I don't know, chicken curry or whatever else the caterer has in, having a couple of drinks, etc. And I'm up here in the house, literally just preparing all my food, making sure it's ready to go. My bag's packed. I have everything I need for the remainder of the evening today and my first 3 meals tomorrow, because I don't even have enough lunch boxes for 4. So, you know, even though it's been like a very, very difficult 2 days, and like, I would like to just take the foot off the gas and have some time off and just, you know, eat whatever or just not eat, because to be honest, I haven't even really felt like eating over the last 2 days or so. I just can't do that, you know? And like, if you are a bodybuilder and you're on prep, or even if you're not on prep, right, and your goals like mean enough to you, you know, you almost have to do that as well, right? It's just like, it just is what it is, you know? Like, I hear every fucking excuse in the book as to why people can't do some stuff. Couldn't do my steps because it was raining. I couldn't do this because of that. I couldn't do this because of that. 99 times out of 100, it's fucking laziness, okay? Like, I've had very little fucking time the last couple of days. I've had to train. I've had to make sure all my food is done. I've had, you know, family commitments up to my fucking eyes. Like, and I've still managed to just slot in just enough time to get everything done I needed to done. And it's been high stress. It's been high pressure. It's not fucking been easy, let me tell you that. But it hasn't been impossible. Okay? So like, I don't even know what I'm trying to get at really with this clip and posting this, but I know there might be a lot of maybe aspiring bodybuilders watching, or, you know, just people who might want to do a show or whatever. And like, I've coached guys before who you know, might want to do a show and they get a couple of weeks in, they drop out the prep, right? Or I've seen it happen a lot where people pull preps or people quit bodybuilding or whatever the case may be, right? And I think it's because people don't actually truly understand the dedication and the commitment and everything that it takes to do this, right? Like, even when you're mourning, even when you're having a bad day, you just got to do what you got to do, right? I was up at the house last night. Everyone was drinking. Obviously, I don't drink anymore, so that was a little bit easy. But fucking sandwiches everywhere, cakes everywhere, teacups everywhere. They ordered in like 8 fucking pizzas, loads of chips, the whole shebang. And I was there like eating pineapple and blueberries out of a bowl and eating chicken and rice with no sauce, just salt, you know? And like, yeah, I was getting people slagging me, you know? Like my uncle-in-law was like, oh, Jesus, Dara got the fruit. I didn't know there was fruit here. I have to have this horrible pizza and Dara's getting the fruit. I didn't know there was fruit here. All this fucking shite, right? But like, you're just going to have to put up with those things, right? And listen to those things. And if this were a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago, all my relatives would be asking me like, why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you having a drink? Oh, you don't drink? That's a bit boring, isn't it? Like, do you not like to like enjoy yourself, right? Or, oh, have a slice of pizza. It's like, what do you mean you're not going to have a slice of pizza? Oh, that's very obsessive. Like, why are you eating that? Go on, just take it off, etc., etc. And like, I used to get that so much. And it used to be a little bit difficult, even for someone like myself who, you know, I would consider myself mentally resilient, right? And if you're watching this and if you try and bodybuild, you will get that too. Off of friends, off of family, off of everybody. Until eventually you don't. Because, yeah, I got 1 or 2 comments last night, but the majority of the comments I got were, I wish I had your discipline. You're so dedicated. How do you like stick to your diet? And like, what are you eating now? And like, how many meals a day do you eat? And like, what number of meal is this? Everyone was actually genuinely interested and supportive in what I'm doing now, because they've seen for years now the dedication and the discipline. And instead of just wondering why I'm not partaking in something, now they kind of understand it more. Now they appreciate it more. Now they respect it more. Despite the circumstances, right? At the moment that's going on. So like, they all know I'm on prep, right? They all know I have a competition, and they can see that I'm putting in the work, and they respect that, right? And if you're early on in your journey, you're going to get pushback, and people won't respect that. But eventually they will. You just got to push through. You just got to learn how to say no. And most of all, you got to put the effort in. You got to be prepared. You got to be organized, and you got to leave the fucking graveyard early to come home and fucking prep your meals when everyone else is out and about and having fun. They're doing whatever. Because that's just fucking what you do if you're a bodybuilder and you're on prep, all right? The dogs are ruining my motivational TED Talk. I'm snapping with that. But anyway, I better clean up the mess I've made, because if I leave all these pots and pans here and fuck off up to Dublin with all my prepped meals, my mother's going to absolutely kill me. So I'm going to wrap this clip up here. Probably won't vlog the travel tomorrow, but I'll touch base with you when I'm back in the UK. Peace out, guys. Back to the fucking motherland, boys. What is happening, guys? So, if you've made it this far in the video, then I appreciate you listening to that waffle in the last clip. We're back in the UK now. I'm back. I'm settled. It's Tuesday. I travelled back on Sunday. And look, my emotions were quite high in that clip. I'd literally only buried my grandmother like 30 minutes beforehand, and I was very stressed out the whole time I was at home, really, but in particular on that day with everything that was going on, and just trying to keep up with everything that I needed to do on prep, right? Like, it's not easy. It's not, you know, but I'm just trying to be real with people who are like watching this channel. I'm trying to be real with people who, you know, want to do bodybuilding or are interested in bodybuilding. Like, a lot of people might watch that and just think, fuck, like, you know, that's really extreme, but bodybuilding is extreme. So, you know, I'm just keeping it real, guys. I'm just like showing you and telling you how it is and how I approach things and how I believe everyone else should approach things if they want to be a bodybuilder. So anyway, we're back in Extreme here for legs, guys. So going to do a little bit of a voiceover here and just tell you basically how we approach things while I was at home, what the updates are, where we're at now in prep, and hopefully that'll just lead into a little bit more of a normal video in the next vlog. So whilst I was at home,
we obviously had a couple of high days, right? I think I mentioned that. So Kuba was quite concerned that like my body weight was going to drop a ton, as it generally tends to do when I travel. So he adjusted my meal plan before I went home, right? So when I traveled back on Wednesday, I did actually have some slightly higher food, and then every single day after that, we were kind of increasing the food from there. So initially it was like extra training day food, extra rest day food. So we had an additional 428 calories on my first travel day home, and we did an additional 536 calories on my first training session on Thursday, which was the day before this leg day here. Okay. Now, off the back of that Wednesday travel day, where I only had an extra 428 calories, the following day my body weight dropped by 1.4 kilos. Okay. And when I went into train pool that day, I took some pictures upstairs in Extreme, which I might pop in this video, but they're on anyway. So if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram and you will see those. And I looked fucking crazy, right? So I knew straight away, like, okay, I'm after losing like a lot of body fat literally in the space of 24 hours here. I think like at the stage I'm at now in my bodybuilding journey, like I am kind of starting to get a decent amount of muscle, if I do say so myself. So I am very susceptible to actually just dropping weight very, very quickly if I don't eat, right? So off the back of sending Kuba those pictures and sending my weight for my check-in, we decided to run a pretty high day the following day for the training day, right? So we did like 5,000 calories and 765 grams of carbs. So that was an extra 939 calories on baseline. And the following day, my weight did not move. Didn't fucking budge, okay? So we had a rest day on that Saturday, and he fucking loaded me up pretty hard, okay? So he sent me over basically what the plan of action was for that day, and that was the day of the funeral, right? That was the day where I recorded that clip, okay? So like pretty much last minute, you know, I thought I had all the food I needed. I wasn't expecting this massive high day. He added in like sourdough bread and rice cakes, and the rice cakes I did had ran out, and etc, etc. So, you know, I did an extra 1,467 calories on that day, okay? Which was a lot of food, right? And obviously from 10 o'clock in the morning up until I'd say 2:30, I hadn't eaten a meal, right? Because I was up at the house. You know, I brought the coffin down to the church. I brought it into the church and carried it into the church, and you know, then we went up to the cemetery after that. So like it was just hectic, right? Trying to get all that food in. Then like I only had 2 meals eaten by the time it was like 2:30, and like I had to just get a ton of fucking calories in, right? And yeah, you know, everyone was just like all over the place for the rest of the evening. I also had to travel up to Dublin that night, so I had to eat like fucking 3 meals in the car in one of my cousin's house, and yeah, it was just a lot, right? And the following day then as well, we did run like similar to the previous travel day, like an extra 400 and something calories. And then Monday, the first day I was back home yesterday, we did another fairly large high day because my body weight still hadn't budged at all. It actually dropped again a little bit. So yesterday we did an extra 1,000 calories on a rest day, just 4,500 calories. And just like lots of sourdough bread, lots of other things. And I just did fuck all steps for the day, did like 5k steps, got my physio done, and woke up this morning and my body weight was back up to exactly where it was pretty much before I actually traveled home, right? So it was 105.8 kilos this morning. I was in Ultraflex for push earlier, and I had a fucking unbelievable session, I'm not gonna lie, right? It was one of those days where I was like, this could go either way. I was kind of worried I was just going to go in and like, I was just going to have the most terrible session ever, especially because push hasn't really been the best for me as of recent with the pec injury. But I went in, incredible session, incredible pump, took some pictures post-workout, and I was really liking how I was looking. So the crazy thing is, you know, I'm 5 weeks and 4 days into prep now, and I've only actually dropped 3.8 kilos from like where my weigh-in was the first Monday of prep. And I look completely fucking different. So I think I'm holding my size a lot better this time around. And I think with that travel and with those like 6 back-to-back high days that we done, kind of brought me back to life a little bit. And I definitely have the feeling that like this time around on prep, Kuba's going to be feeding me a lot more, right? And like where I'm at right now, it's still a decent amount of weight off my cap. You know, I'm still actually like 7.4 kg off my cap. Now, I think I have a little bit more than that to lose, but I think my estimate of where my body weight is going to be on stage is just going to be pretty bang on. So we'll see what happens, but that's the update, guys. That's where we're at. I'll probably have popped some, pictures up on the screen here of what I look like in the gym today, just so you can kind of see. And we'll be back to normal, regular schedule of vlogs in the next video, and hopefully it won't be mega depressing shit. So guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.